That's not good. I have a love-hate relationship with VR horror games. On one side, the survival horror genre is at the top of my list, but when incorporated into virtual reality, I turn into a scaredy coward baby. Something about having the action right in your face really hits me hard. Organ Quarter is no different. The game is heavily inspired by survival horror titles, most specifically Silent Hill, and attempts to bring the classic survival horror feel into virtual reality. From the large empty town streets to the map system, you'll get the feeling you've done this before, just not you in the game with the monsters. You'll find plenty of locked doors, puzzles, and item management here, as well as horrifying dark environments complete with great sound design and creepy imagery. Everything here is gross. Gross walls, gross doors, gross enemies, gross, gross, gross. Neat. Gross. The overall design is great, and every room has something new and weird going on. I wasn't able really to follow exactly what was happening story-wise, except we don't leave our apartment often, and I'm supposed to meet some people at a bar or something.
As your doctor, I'm prescribing you a dose of society and entertainment. See you soon.
First person you meet asks if they can have your skin when you die. I'm sure they're lovely.
Hey, when you die, can I have your skin? Sorry, I'm just joking around. You can get back to me on that. I'm going out for a drink later. You should join me.
The game was originally released 7 years ago before being re-released for PlayStation VR 2, and it shows in the gameplay mechanics. Instead of physically opening doors or going downstairs, you grab them to enter them automatically. It's basically a teleportation movement. There is no button to crouch, so you'll have to physically bend down to pick up items or crawl under certain areas. My biggest issue with Organ Quarter is the lack of support for people who shoot left-handed. There's an option to switch your dominant hand to the left, but it's just a swap, meaning I would have to use the right analog stick to move around if I wanted to shoot naturally. And since I've built like 30 years of muscle memory using the left stick for movement, that wasn't an option. So I played the game doing my best shooting with my offhand. Switching weapons and reloading is done with the push of a button, and there's no physical reloading mechanics here. You have limited inventory space and will need to utilize large chests found around to store your excess items. To save your game, you stick your head into one of these flush TVs. Although the game is on the older side, it does make use of PlayStation VR's headset and controller haptics. I love a game with a good map. It looks exactly like what you would find in a Silent Hill game, but the main difference is that it doesn't fill in which doors you've checked on its own. Instead, you're given several stamps you can use to mark broken doors, puzzles, or save points. You can use these stamps pretty much however you want. The monster designs were pretty good overall, with my favorite being the bugs. They are 100% nightmare fuel when you see them up close. The other walking types are okay, but there's not much differentiating between their behavior besides one that likes to spit at you. I gotta give it to the developer for the environments. They nailed the look of being in a literal nightmare with abnormal construction and creating what seems to be a living town in the literal sense. Organic material mixes with walls and other objects. Throw in the darkness and Organ Quarter is an insanely creepy game. As I played, I was so paranoid about checking every single corner for enemies because sometimes my eyes would play tricks on me and I think I see a bad guy, but it was just a meat wall. If you're into virtual reality, you know that when you're really into a game, it becomes more than that. It's more like an experience. And I think that's a really good way to describe Organ Quarter, a survival horror experience. I've played some of the developers' other titles, but I'd love to see another game just like this that makes use of the PlayStation VR 2 capabilities with a little more modern polish. So if you're looking for a fairly short romp through a Silent Hill styled survival horror game and can get past some of the dated VR mechanics, I highly suggest Organ Quarter. And that's it for me. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.